What's going on, guys? My name is Ty. Welcome to The Blueprint. Today, we'll be interviewing Mike Heldstab, who's built a successful real estate career with rentals. So we're gonna see how he evaluates his deals, what he sees when he walks through the property, and how he finds his deals on auction. So we'll first start with just asking, who are you, Mike?
I'm just a regular dude that likes doing stuff with my family and trying to make my community a better place, and enjoy the construction process, enjoy the real estate process, and just enjoy people.
And I know that we talked a lot about the business side and your why, as far as like why you want to keep rents affordable and the impact you're making. But what is like a personal why? What gets you out of bed on your hardest days? And what's your why?
Sure. Yeah, I actually really enjoy work, to be honest. I mean, obviously I would rather be on a beach or in a swimming pool or doing something like that, but I don't get the Sunday scaries. I'm ready to go get the week started. But my why is, I would say it's a mix of, probably like everybody, having the monetary side of being able to retire earlier than I would otherwise be doing if I worked a W-2, and being able to lay a foundation for my kids, not just like I mentioned earlier. I don't want to just give them money and hope that they do something responsible with it. I want them to see that there is work involved, and you've got to commit to playing a bigger part in your community and trying to do something that leaves where you're at a better place.
And you're talking about creating a foundation. What was your foundation when you started 5 years ago? As far as I know, you went to K-State. Can you tell us about what you studied and kind of the career path you took before you went full-time real estate?
Yeah, so in 2012, I graduated from K-State with a bachelor's in political science. And in the year before I graduated, I went and interned for a summer in Washington, D.C. For a U.S. senator.
7-3 Godzilla.
Sorry about that, Mike. We got turned around a little bit. How are you? So what's going on here?
Yeah, so I have owned this duplex, and then not that next one, but the next one over for about 10 years. Got a sweet deal out of the auction back when you guys would crap when you see the prices of what they were back then. So we were able to buy, my wife and I, 3 duplexes, 2016. I think it was an auction after premium was $82,000 for the whole package.
No.
At that time, all I did was put roofs on them, and
$82K for 3 all brick houses, essentially.
all brick duplexes.
Duplexes.
So back then, they were bringing in, probably about $800 a building. So it cash flowed incredible. But
right away.
10 years ago, that was the kind of deals that were pretty regular. So they've obviously gone way up, and then I was able to buy the next one over last summer. So now we've got 4 of them kind of in a row.
Dude, you are playing like real life Monopoly.
That's
Literally.
the goal, just try to play Monopoly. You can see these walls, they look beige, but they were probably white at some point. So there's been a lot of cigarettes smoked in this place.
Oh my goodness.
So if you took...
This would not
like,
white but beige, but this looks like almost
Yeah.
brown.
Yeah, and I'm sure it was not brown originally on the ceiling. You can
don't
tell the
understand.
difference between the ceiling and the wall a little bit. But
I never understood
smoke
why people can do
just
that.
absolutely crushes a house. So in this one, we'll do all the patchwork. They'll paint it. They'll use tons of kills. We're doing pretty basic kitchen work. Be new sink, new countertops, new floor. The biggest thing that kind of a lesson that I learned and that I recommend to most people is you can't overdo your rentals. If you overdo everything and you go in and say, every time I'm going to put central heat and air and new kitchens, new granite, stainless, all these things, you get to a point where, one, you make it so it's hard to make a profit, you make it more expensive to maintain, and you also price people out of their own neighborhood. And that's, again, kind of goes back to our conversation. That's not my goal. I want people to be able to stay in their neighborhood. I want them to have a better place to live, but still be within reach of what they can afford. So I work hard at trying to keep costs low. Not only does it benefit me, but it benefits the tenants in the area, that they're going to be able to come in and rent a place like this for $550, $600 I still have an opportunity to make money in cash flow, and they've got an opportunity to have a decently affordable place. It's going to be safe, things are going to work, it's going to be clean. So it works good for both of us.
As you can tell, Mike does a good job of trying to keep rents low, but he has to balance the money aspect as far as like if he rehabs it for so much, he's going to have to charge the renter more money just because he can't lose money on the property. So he has to find that balance between good material, but also the price has to make sense to keep the rents low for families to stay there long term.
And at that time, I thought that I wanted to live and work in DC and be a career political guy. I loved politics, and then I realized that I did not want to live in Washington, DC. It took a whole summer for me to realize that. So I ended up coming back, finishing my degree, moved to Wichita a year later, and then I actually got a job working for that same U.S. Senator. I worked for him for 7 years about and handled military and veterans affairs. Really enjoyed that, got a lot of opportunities that most 24-year-olds wouldn't have gotten. Started real estate investing on the side, and then in late 2020, I think COVID kind of burned me out on things. I was not loving the politics as much anymore and had one son at the time and realized just wanted something more, wanted more opportunity to make my schedule flexible and not travel so much. And it was the perfect time to really commit to going full-time real estate.
You know, and I don't want to get too deep, but I do at the same time. If you were to pass away today, what was the one thing that you would want to leave to your kids as far as knowledge?
I think it'd be more mindset, not necessarily knowledge. You can learn anything you want to put your mind to, but mindset, I think, is the most important thing, that it's possible to do virtually whatever you want. You've got to be just ready to risk it. Otherwise, you're probably never going to be above the status quo. You got to be able to work hard and be willing to work hard and do what it takes.
It's hard for me because I have to balance like filling out, like getting good content, but also being respectful. I remember when we first met at the investor lunch, you were talking to me about like the infinite bank money glitch.
Yeah, so I'm sure there's probably a lot of people that have different terms or different definitions of infinite money. For me, what I've utilized is the Burr strategy, which to me has been kind of an infinite method of growth. So I can come in, what I'll typically do, I've got a line of credit that has money available, and it's against a property that has very little debt. So because the value's gone up and I've paid it down over the years, I can go buy, if I wanted to buy the house across the street for $70,000, I'll go pay cash out of that line of credit, put $10,000 or $15,000 in rehab into it. Now I've got $75,000 into it, but the bank thinks it's worth $120,000. So now they're willing to lend 75, 80, 85%, depending on your relationship against that. So I can get all my money back from the bank on a loan and then still allow it to cash flow and basically have $0 out of my operating account in that new property. So by doing that, it is almost an infinite process. The only thing that really hinders it is how much you can handle.
Yeah, so pretty much you just do that process over and over again. You're pretty much using the same bank money.
Yeah.
Once the project is done, you refi out of it using their money.
Exactly.
And so essentially you can buy as many rentals as you can as long as the numbers make sense.
Absolutely.
And just rinse and repeat.
Yeah, it's rinse and repeat. I've used the same home equity loan probably 15 times. So even though one loan has a $100,000 cap on it, I've probably bought close to $2 million worth of real estate with that.
So a lot of investors, they all have their edge. And the one thing they teach us is that whatever your edge is, run with it. You know, and what I've come to find out is it seems like your edge is not only having a great management, great buy box, and understand your risk, but it's auctions. A lot of investors that I know personally go direct to seller or maybe buy from wholesalers. How do you make the auction work so prolifically for you in your business?
Yeah, I think what I love about auctions is that you know exactly what you're getting. So every time I go to an auction, the good example is that every other month, McCurdy does their big multi-auction. I get their list a month before the auction starts. And then I know exactly what day I can go view it. I've got 4 hours to get inside everything I want to see. I take my checklist, I do my budget, I decide my max amount I'm willing to bid. You got to consider that 10%. So it's like everything is very rigid. So I know exactly, title work is done. Everything has a clear title. There's no negotiating afterwards. I don't have to worry about the seller backing out. I don't have to worry about XYZ. I just know here's my top number and I'm either going to buy it or I'm not. And then you finalize the deal after you're the high bidder. Another thing is that auctions have an opportunity that a lot of people don't maybe take advantage of, where there's been multiple times, I've probably done it 4 or 5 times, where a property is a no sale. So it didn't bring as much as the seller thought they wanted. So they decided, I'm not selling it at the high bid price tonight. Well, the goal of any auctioneer is to get that deal closed at some point. So I'll call that night, I'll call that day, talk to the auction representative and say, where are we at on 123 Main Street? I know the high bid was 50,000 and that wasn't enough. So what's it going to take to make this deal work? And then they'll give you an idea of what the seller needs out of that, and then make a deal from there. And I've done that many times.
But the series is called The Blueprint. If you had to restart again with no money, some knowledge, no connections, how would you do it?
I would go out and make as many connections as I can, especially in ways that are free or low cost. I'd go into these real estate investor meetups and luncheons, going to really just take advantage of whatever opportunity is available to you, again, especially if they're free or low cost. Find those mentors, be ready to put a plan together on how you're going to put some money into action, even if it's a small amount of money. Make those contacts at banks or hard money lenders or wherever it might be that you're going to find your funding. Put that into that first property, whether it's going to be a flip or maybe even a wholesale deal. And if you're able to, a rental, and then you're playing Monopoly at that point, and then you turn 1 into 2 and 2 into 4 and just keep going as much as you can.
Out of curiosity, do you believe in God?
I do.
How would you say that God has helped you in your journey?
I think that it's helped me directly and through my family on how I was raised, of just tying back to you the blueprint on how you treat people and how you put your values, and honestly, the rest kind of falls into place. For me specifically, I think that when you try to do things the right way and people know that you're going to stick to your word and you're going to do what you say you're going to do, then good things happen to you. And you can call it karma or just the universe doing what it's doing, or through God. Either way, it's, I think when you do things right, better things happen to you.
Dude, that was perfect. Thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching this interview with Mike Heldstab. I hope he was able to give you some insight on what it's like to own a large portfolio. And there's going to be a lot more guests just like this providing just as much value, so stay tuned.